Two engineering teams adopted Kafka in the same month. 1 year later, the first team processes 1 billion events a day and barely thinks about infrastructure. The second team spends every week tuning brokers and debugging consumer lag for a system that never needed Kafka in the first place. Same technology, completely different outcome. The difference is not whether Kafka is good. The difference is whether the problem matches the shape Kafka was built for. Start with the first team. They run a ride-sharing app. Every driver phone reports its location every few seconds. Every trip creates events: requested, matched, started, completed, payment processed, ride canceled, ETA updated. And all of those events matter to many different systems at once. The live map needs them immediately, pricing watches them to calculate surge, fraud detection scans for suspicious patterns, analytics pipelines collect everything for reporting, driver payouts depend on accurate trip history, notification systems send receipts and alerts. A massive river of event blocks flowing from phones and cars into a partitioned Kafka log, then branching into systems labeled maps, pricing, fraud, payouts, analytics, and notifications. This is exactly what Kafka was designed for. A relentless stream of writes lands in partitioned logs spread across brokers. Different consumer groups read the same events independently, each keeping its own position in the stream. Analytics can lag behind for hours while pricing stays real-time. Nobody blocks anyone else. And the really important part is that Kafka remembers. When the fraud team builds a new detector 6 months later, they do not beg upstream systems to resend data. They replay historical events directly from the log. That replay capability changes the mental model. Kafka is not just moving messages around, it is storing a durable shared history of what happened. Replication handles broker failures so events are not lost when machines die. Partitions spread load across servers so throughput scales horizontally. Consumer groups let many systems independently consume the same stream. Notice the pattern. Huge event volume, many independent readers, history worth replaying, losing an event unacceptable. When those four conditions align, Kafka feels natural. This is why companies like LinkedIn, Netflix, and Uber built entire platforms around it. Now compare that with the second team. They run a bakery chain website. About 200 orders arrive each day. When an order comes in, one back-end service sends an email to the bakery location. That's the workflow. But Kafka was everywhere. Conference talks, job descriptions, architecture diagrams, so they adopted it anyway. Now they maintain brokers, plan partition counts, monitor replication health, track consumer lag, configure retention settings, all to move 200 tiny messages a day from one service to one other service. A single cupcake sitting on a giant industrial conveyor system surrounded by cranes, warning lights, and control panels. That's the trap. Kafka is industrial machinery. It solves expensive distributed systems problems, and that power comes with operational cost. If one service simply hands work to another service, a lightweight queue is usually enough. If a service needs an immediate answer, like validating a password or checking inventory, that's a direct request. Kafka is asynchronous. It's a log you flow through, not a phone you call and wait on. So here's the practical decision test. Do multiple systems need the same events? Is your event volume large or growing quickly? Would replaying history ever matter? Is losing an event unacceptable? If most answers are yes, Kafka will probably feel like a superpower. If most answers are no, Kafka will probably feel like dragging an aircraft carrier to a fishing trip. And if you land somewhere in the middle, managed Kafka services in the cloud can reduce a lot of the operational burden without changing the core trade-off. At this point, the pieces should connect. Kafka is a durable log that decouples services. Partitions scale writes, consumer groups scale reads. Replication survives broker failures exactly once delivery is engineered carefully, not magically assumed. Somewhere out there, Order 42 has finally been placed, paid, shipped, and delivered. exactly once.